Hello, hello. Welcome to this Empower Me Now workshop. It's such a pleasure to have you here. I'm Mia Frankel. Whether you're catching us live or on the replay, know this. This session is part of a greater mission to help leaders, professionals, and change makers like you lead with clarity, grow with purpose, and live with well-being at the center. It's no longer enough to push harder and do more. Sustainable success requires something deeper: resilience, alignment, and the ability to thrive without burnout. That's what this session is here to help you unlock. We'll be diving into practical strategies, real world insights, and mindset shifts that you can start applying immediately. And today you're in for a real treat with Sharon Bowes, an accomplished photographer and business professional with a brilliant 30+ year career in corporate workplaces. Sharon is renowned for helping team members shine their lights and co-create seemingly impossible results on purpose consistently. After leaving the hustle and bustle of big cities, completely burnt out, Sharon sought solace and healing in the arms of Mother Nature. It was here, amidst the serene beauty of the Canadian Rocky Mountains, that she reinvented her entire life and identity. Sharon doesn't just talk about change, she illuminates the path to purpose, showing her clients how to break free from survival mode and step into their flow. She offers something deeper than strategies. She brings energy, vision, and empowerment wrapped in a journey that feels personal, real, and attainable, like a warm hug from nature. Her clients are eager for her magic because she awakens something within each of them: the spark of possibility, the courage to choose differently, and the belief that their life can be more. It's like poetry in motion. Sharon's presence isn't just inspiring, it's catalytic. She makes her clients see what they didn't think was possible for themselves and gives them tools to go after it. She just helps make it work. And you guys are in for a real treat that compasses the whole theme of this beautiful, beautiful bio, as Sharon, a self-leadership coach, is going to walk you through unlock the leader within, rise above toxic cultures, and thrive. Welcome, Sharon.
Awesome. Thank you, Mia. That's a great introduction. So I am going to take it off from here and look forward to seeing you at the end.
Likewise.
So, welcome. Whether you're watching this on repeat or a replay or live, what I'm here today to do is to help you unlock the leader within and rise above toxic cultures. Toxic cultures have been an observation of mine for years, and how it actually occurs has been something that I have tried to unlock myself. So, um, and have achieved the break free from limiting environments and have reclaimed my power and led with confidence in work and life in much bigger ways because of what I uncovered in all of my journeys. So, what I'd like you to do is take out a piece of paper and a blank piece of paper and split your page into three parts. The first part is your company's or business's part in what we're going to talk about. The middle part of the page is my part, the part that you play into all of that, and the external parts. Anything else that comes into play here, conversations with your friends, your family members, dramas, or other, you know, distractions and barriers that come up because of the external parts, which could even include, the economic downturn in society or political what's going on. So you can write down your thoughts as to what's there. The other thing to notice as I go through this is consider your part, and really consider your part. At the intersection of mindset and attitudes lies choice. And we choose in each moment to either avoid or blame somebody for the problem. And sometimes we include others and we try and incite them to join our mission, our um, complaint, or what have you. Uh, and if we have the growth mindset and the ownership of anything that comes along, we can evolve into new ways. So, what I'm going to share with you today is some of my insights on how a toxic culture is actually built, so that you can choose a different response. And instead of avoiding something, you can evolve. Or instead of blaming someone, you can take ownership of the situation and respond in a different way than you would typically respond, because of your DNA, your survival brain. Um, this is all about the survival brain, and I'm hoping not to trigger your survival brain as I go through the talk. But if I do, please just breathe deeply and let it empower you, wash over you, and know that on the other side, I will give you practical and tactical ways to adjust, um, to de-trigger your survival brain, which will allow you that choice. When our amygdala is in control, the back of our brain, the survival brain, we have no conscious prefrontal cortex choice. So, um, losing that choice, just reacting as our survival brain triggers, gets us into a place and space of not making the right choice, or the choice that we would consciously make if we uh, were able to in that moment. And these things happen all the time. We get anxious, we get frustrated, we get angry at what's going on, um, who's doing what. We blame, we incite, we have complaint circles, and so on. And it's normal. That's natural. Our feelings get triggered, and our survival brain gets triggered. And when the survival brain, when the amygdala gets triggered, then it floods our body with hormones. And the hormones are what um, trigger us to uh, deal with that, to solve the problem, to, you know, um, get out of it right away, because we have, as a human being, that need to get out of that issue right away. So I'm going to start with talking about the whole human view. So we have a mind that is part of that cycle. We have a heart and we have a soul. Knowing how toxic cultures are built will give us choice to build joyful cultures. And I'm going to do this, I'll fill in this triangle for you. Um, so let's maybe view it as a scientific study. View the triangle and the whole human view, and how does the head interact with the heart, and how does the heart interact with the soul, and how does the head interact with the soul as well. I'm actually from my studies in university, a geographer. So to me, this is a geographic map of the human energy. So we have a number of practices that are common in business and life. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is scarcity. And I deliberately separated scare city, because we are scared. Um, Fear is one of the common uses of triggering survival brain. It creates anxiety. And when we live in scarcity and when we live in there long enough, our survival brain is constantly in control, and we can't do those conscious choices that give us a happy life. And the trigger here, when you hear or you think something is not enough in your life, you are in scarcity. You are in that state of mind where it's like you're anxious. You want to please. You want to appease. You're working on, should I leave? Should I stay? What am I supposed to do? There's not enough, and not enough may be not enough time, not enough money, not enough joy in your life, not enough power, authority, autonomy, control. It's any of those not enough is going to create anxiety. And when you start to feel anxious, um, one of the things that you can do in your body, which is a kind of cool thing, is drink a glass of water. When your amygdala feels enough of something, it doesn't matter what it is, breathing, drinking a glass of water, having some food, it will calm down, and it you can de-trigger that survival brain reaction. So there's some really key little practical things that you can do. The next shortcut, the next practice, the business practice, is to find the shortcut. Copy from the past and paste it into the future. Um, and you can see how that can cause problems, but it also causes a solution for you because you feel like you're in more control of this situation, whatever is going on. Could be layoffs, it could be, friction on your team, it could be pressure to meet a certain target deadline, which of course is scarcity. Then what you do is you copy from your past and you paste it into your future. You feel more in control, but at the same time, if it's somebody else copying the past and pasting it into your future, you feel controlled. So one way or the other, control is the key issue. And when you hear in your brain, what's the shortcut? How can I get to this faster? How can I get to this first? Competitive reality and so on comes into play here. You just, can I copy their model and use it in my business so that I can exceed the extent of my influence um, in a much bigger way than my competition? It leads me to practice number 3, which is death by distrust. And when you suddenly hear who's at fault in your brain, you paranoia sets in. We're always looking for that little outlook. We've got those outposts out there looking for who's doing this to me, who's causing all of this problems, and who's at the root of it. So this is the practice where that triggers a lot of blame, a lot of that reaction that we have as human beings is there's and all that suspicion. There's a political maneuver going on. I can't see it. I don't know it. I can't touch it, but I know that somebody's doing some political maneuvering, and I don't trust them. And as soon as you get into that place and space of I don't trust somebody, you start to get into that paranoia space. It's natural. It's normal. It's not anything that is controlled consciously by you. It is your survival brain reacting, but it builds on the scarcity and the copy paste, and all of a sudden you are sitting in a cognitive cage in the middle, paranoid, anxious, controlled. Who feels this way? At some point, somebody feels this way, and it's like, wow. you know, it's, and we look for escape points. I think this is one of the reasons why escape rooms are such a popular place to be, because we're in those cognitive cages all the time, and we want to get out of them. And um, I can figure it out. I can muscle my mind through this. I can get through and find a place, or I can just let it go and abandon it, not even avoid it altogether. You know, these are our ways that we get out. This is ways that our team members also use, by the way, if they are feeling anxious because we are forcing them to a deadline, if they feel controlled because we have a specific formula that they're supposed to follow, a standard operating procedure, or what have you, these are all control mechanisms. And they don't trust us because, you know, there's been something that happened in the past, or um, they've seen it before by other leaders, what have you. It it triggers that paranoia and gets them stuck in cognitive cages. As a leader, you want to make sure that your staff, your employees, your group, your team doesn't get into that cognitive cage. So you've got to be able to find ways to release them from that. Um, I will get to that in just a moment. But first, there's practice number 5. We have an addiction to our survival brain. This is something that causes us to feel panic. And we feel like we're bouncing around and we're trying to get out of these cognitive cages. And the connection between our soul and our heart has us feel very panicky. And we want to deal with it. And we are addicted to actually being in that place and space. And we have mechanisms to deal with this. I have my own mechanism, which is I eat, and I eat food that's not good for me when I'm in that addiction to survival brain. And so I get a reward. And so it keeps me going back to that addiction and getting back into that place and space so that I can have my food reward. So it's something that we all have is some kind of addiction release or relief, or we use a different addiction to um, complement our addiction to our survival brain, that is really that connection between our soul and our heart, and how those two close off that access point, that escape point in our um, pyramid here. We also have practice 6. There is the one-way highway. There's the permission. You have permission to climb the ladder as long as you can climb the ladder. And the ladder is only one way. There's only one pathway. There's only one CEO in an organization. There's only one CFO. The C-suite is fixed in numbers. And, even if you're in a massive organization, of 500 to 1,000 to 10,000 people, you are only one cog in the wheel, and there's only one way to leadership. There's only one way and one path. So you can't get through that escape point either, because this is between the head and the heart, wanting to do more, wanting to do it differently, knowing that there's a different approach that you can take. And yet you are feeling like you're inside of walls. You're hitting a wall here, you're hitting a wall there. It feels like there's a brick wall around, and you just can't get out. And then the last lock on our cages closes us in. And practice 7 is the mandatory martyr. We know them. We been them. Some of us are them currently. It's the ones who are getting laid off, the ones who are sidelined from the success ladder, the ones who are trying to voice a different pathway, ask questions, be a little bit more visible with their presence. And all of a sudden, that escape hatch is closed as well. And we are stuck in these cognitive cages, paranoid and controlled and anxious. We're panicking. we're feeling walls, and suddenly uh, layoffs are happening around us, and our entire lifestyle is at risk. What if I'm on the list? What if I'm the next one to go? What am I going to do? How am I going to find alternative options? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And having been laid off in my career 8 different times, and having that bomb drop on me 8 different times through my 30 plus years, I get it. I totally understand. I also understand this, the survivor syndrome. Those who are left behind are even more controlled than the ones who are let go. The ones who are let go can actually have the freedom to make a choice and live their life in new ways, which they never would have had before. And the ones who are still stuck in that corporate grind um, are the ones who are panicking even more. And you have that hostage syndrome that you can't let go. You've got the golden handcuffs and the chains that are keeping you in. So that escape point is cut off as well. But not to fear, because you are not a nail. So you can choose. You know that you know you can flip the switch and you can choose differently. Like the glass of water that you can use when you're in scarcity, there are things that you can do in each of those other 7 areas, 6 areas, that will actually free you from the survival brain hijack and allow you to use your prefrontal cortex to create on purpose joyful cultures and joyful life journeys flowing with energy between, again, these same 3 parts of who you are, your mind, your soul, your heart, that are helping to control it. So the first step is to start in the middle, in the cognitive cages. You're the only one who's in that cage. So how do you get out? How do you find a new pathway that will allow you to leap out of that triangle, out of that middle circle? You start by increasing your skills, gaining new insights and new skills along the way, finding places and spaces to learn from others, finding opportunities that you never would have found otherwise, using a coach, using a consultant who can help you break through your cognitive cage. Because when we are in a cognitive cage, this is what coaches work with. They work with the cognitive, what's happening in your head, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, to help you break through your specific spark of brilliance, your specific area of expertise, which is, part of what I do with my clients, is I listen. And listening skills is a new skill that to learn, and I would highly recommend going down that pathway of gaining new insights by listening in new ways to what's going around you, what's going on within your teams, what's going on within the organization, what's going on within the world and your community and your family, to gain those new insights that will actually trigger some uh, joy, because you can now, once you find out the new approaches, you can fill your life with some fun pieces. Play. Don't be as serious as I was. Build on what's fun for you. And, one of the things that I did do, and I have done my whole life, is escape into the wilderness, into nature, into the mountains. Since they're really close by to where I live, I have been heading towards the mountain my entire life, because I've always dreamed of living in the mountains, and yet I avoided living in the mountains for almost 50 years. And so now it's finally getting into the mountains and being able to go out and use my geography and understand what's happening in the planet, in the animals, in the forests that I live within, and have fun enjoying seeing a new species of bird, or have fun exploring a new lifestyle from a different animal species. And it has been such a joy. um, you know, and when I finally got in the mountains, I met and married a fellow geographer who goes on these excursions with me, and we just have way more fun. And to me, that just helps me feel empowered. I feel like I have the tools, I have the skills. I can walk out my door, and there's mountains all around me, and I can see the peaks right now. Seeing, or different times of the year, can see the snow on the peaks, or the bare peaks. But the solidity of the mountains helps empower me and my spirit energy, that I can withstand the storm. I can withstand what's going on in the world because I have the skills to do so, and I can enjoy the journey along the way. Um, Helps me keep flowing, like all of the waterways, the water, the ice, the glaciers, and so on. It energizes my passion. It energizes me. It gives me more ideas. It gives me more solutions that I can increase my use to increase my passion. And add to that is mindfulness. Mindfulness practices. It doesn't have to be meditation. Um, Mindfulness practice is going out and being consciously aware of the earth, the environment around you, the wind, the practices of snow, snow falls, which I find fascinating. It's a study of mine. Um, it falls. Every single snowflake is unique, is different, just like human beings. We are all unique. We are all different. And the snow falls. It collects together into patterns. The wind then shapes it, and the temperature will melt some or freeze some in a different way, or would add to it on top. There's hoarfrost on top of snow, which creates an even more interesting sculpture. And then I can see these sculptures in the wilderness of snow on trees, and I use photographs of snow on trees to help explain a lot of what I do, which is and explain these characters that happen when we are in our survival brain mode. It keeps me engaged in new ways, and it energizes my passion to then unlock my intuition. I had been locked in ignoring my inner voice for years. Part of why I was laid off 8 times was because I was ignoring my inner voice. I knew the layoffs were coming, probably usually between 3 to 6 months in advance of being laid off. I knew what was coming, and yet I did nothing about it, and I didn't prepare in advance. Um, Having all of this instead, by the time my third, fourth layoff occurred, I flipped the switch for myself, and I started to see each layoff as an opportunity instead of a defeat. I saw it as an opportunity to reinvent myself, to explore something new and different in life, to experience something, a new challenge, a new opportunity. And that unlocked my access to my inner voice saying, this is what I really want to do. And I actually, at one point in between jobs, I wrote out a list of the pros and cons of working, and what I really wanted to experience was travel, new industries. I wanted to go through, I didn't want to get involved in the political nature of any one community because I was really burned out at that point in time. And I wanted to work with a team that was connected but disconnected. And I ended up landing a job that gave me all of that. I was experiencing new technology at the time. This was just when cell phones started to come into play. And I was traveling all over North America in the arena of telecommunications, learning new technology at all times, troubleshooting Unix environments and dealing with telecommunications billing software. But I also, in that practice, was able to experience over 70 different lines of business, different companies I would go into of different kinds. And it was one of the most amazing experiences that lasted for a year and a half that had me traveling. And this was pre cell phones. So traveling without a cell phone, think about it, right? Is how do you keep in contact? There's no GPS. How do you find the place that you're sent to go to? And you're landing in Boston, you're landing in Maryland, you're landing in um, all different places, and you're trying to navigate. You're doing hotels and taxis and offices. You're not seeing the sights, but you're actually traveling on the company dime, and it can be crazy. But once you unlock your intuition, you can enjoy the respectful, resonant connections between your heart and soul. This is the other part. Is the one thing that was missing for me in the final part of this map of the human being was this inner feeling of fit, of connection, of the only place in space I could ever find that was going into the mountains, going into nature. And suddenly I would feel connected to land, connected to my own spirit, and it would enliven me. It would um, allow me to celebrate who I really am. And some of that would come in the future from coaching and from help along the way, and also from sharing the experiences with others. And this is where being soulful is the final component, filling your soul and connecting to the contributions that you want to make. This is the other component piece. So once you've increased your skills, you're having fun, you're more engaged with your mindful practices, you've energized your passion, you unlocked your intuition, and now you are connected to who you truly are as a human being, what your bright light is in the world, where you want to go. You can achieve anything. The sky is the limit. Actually, beyond the sky is the limit, and you can rocket ship to whatever you want to do. And key is that in this is looking. So now it's all about choice. How do you reconcile all of that and figure out when the chances come along, when a new chance, when a new opportunity comes along, um, what do you do with that? What are the challenges that you're facing? What are the possibilities of success, the possibilities of failure to that? What are the choices that I have? And what change should I now make? You work with all of that based on your values. Values are very, very key. My company is actually called Going for Values, and it's because it's leading to powerful choice. And values will always be your friend. They're the place and space where you can set your boundaries. You can, determine the heart of you and your soul energy. What is that value that you are espousing for? And what are you trying to achieve by going for values that you're looking for? Your voices and the vibration energy that you have. So, what voices are you listening to? Not just your own, but voices of other that are taking the opportunities and giving you different choices, or challenging you on the choices that you're trying to make. And then what's that underlying intuition saying? What is the spirit energy of you? What's that flow of energy actually talking about inside of your body? What's the vibration? What's the vibe? You know, you can find a tribe that has the same vibe as you, and and then you can experience that celebration and tying it all together. This is a whole arena of discipline that I learned as a consultant in because I ended up as a management consultant in my career. And this was a methodology that I used, is looking at the chances that came along and determining whether they fit with my values or not. And then looking at the challenges, if they are aligned with my values, looking at what's the probability of success that I'm going to have for this particular idea. Is it worth it? And then taking all the things that are worth it and looking at the highest value capacity for each of those and determining what choice I should proceed with to make the change and what changes I should execute. And this is, you can do this in your business, you can do this in your project, you can do this in your family, you can do this in your own personal choices, your career development, and so on. So, a really powerful tool to just follow it A, B, C, and D, and break that triangle apart. And your perceived available choices, just understand that they are, there's a voice of judgment going on and a voice of punishment going on. There's politics, even in your own internal psyche. There are patterns that are inclusive, transparent, systemic, that are happening around you and in you, and so on. And there's also some predictability that you have on your teams, your contributions. There's predictable burnout if you continue to follow a certain path, as well as predictable successes if you follow another path. So, and your purpose is either on purpose, following your values and contributions. And by the way, as soon as you get to contributing what your soul energy wants you to contribute in the world, your joy increases exponentially and you get four values, the values that you want, which requires in many cases unlearning and then relearning something new. So now consider your part. I don't know if you've been able to tie it all together on your sheet of paper, but consider, what's your go-to? What's the place that you, when you're anxious, when you're afraid, when you've got some kind of um, tension building, pressure building, what's your go-to? Do you avoid first and wait for it to go away, which a lot of people do, by the way? Um, do you blame somebody else? Well, if it wasn't for this situation, I'd be fine. So this person is to blame, or this practice is to blame, or this society is to blame. And you can use what I've just shown you here as all of those 7 different practices. They are to blame for my lot in life. And it's not mine. It's not mine. It's somebody else's. Both avoiding and blaming is abdicating ownership of the accountability to these practices. On the other hand, is I have this, but I have this comes in 2 forms. You're either inciting others into your arena, or you're evolving and growing. So the inciting is a fixed state of mind. You have it, but you're leading in a new direction. You're protesting, what have you. Or you're evolving and growing. You're learning new skills. You're becoming more joyful and mindful and soulful so that you can actually connect it all together. Keeping in mind that choice leads to freedom. Freedom creates choice. But what's in the middle is your belief changes everything. If you don't believe that you have choice, you will never believe that you have freedom. If you don't believe you have freedom, you will never be able to create choice. The very powerful, simple little diagram, but it will be the lever that unlocks the leader within. This is the key of this presentation and the critical step for you to unlock that freedom. So now go back to your piece of paper and reevaluate these parts. The one thing you have no control over is your company's business's parts. Unless it's your business, you do have control over that. And so there's some potential to actually do something there. You can't do anything with the external parts either. what other people think of you, what other people say of you, any of the trolls that are commenting on your posts and your life. What what control do you don't have any control over that. They are reacting based on their own personal ideas, not yours. That actually has nothing to do with you. So focus in on your part and figuring out what you can do and what part you can play. Can you shift yourself into that evolution area on purpose to gain new results, to gain new insights? One of the things that happened in this whole process of me learning and unpacking all of this stuff, as a coach consultant, I do this for my clients on a regular basis. I met Sabina Matharo, who is the co-founder of the Empower Me Hub, and her and I decided to get together and build this and help others globally get to that empowerment of wisdom and sharing that wisdom out. And that's why we created the hub. That's why we created this absolutely amazing community. And I'll bring Mia back on again so that she can. I think, Mia, you have to put your camera back on. And we can have, there you go. We have a conversation.
I mean, there's so much logical wisdom in this presentation that empowers you to behave better and higher and in your power, right? No matter the environment that you think you're being challenged in. And a big catchphrase that I love is internal satisfaction, internal expansion for external satisfaction. And that was a big theme throughout this, that things are going to happen, but how are you going to lead yourself through them for, peace, contentment, and improvement, and then also your responsibility to kind of shift things for others to do the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's let's all breathe.
Yeah.
Let's all have a glass of water. Let's breathe. Let's,
Yeah. That pattern interruption, right?
Exactly, right. And there's a number of ways to do that. And there's a number of people who can help with that. So it's, making that change.
Yeah.
And it's how we all master life's lessons and learnings. And for me and for Sabina and this Empower Me Hub, the holistic element to me is absolutely critical. Is that we're not just the worker bee, the parent, the coach. Yeah. We're not just the daughter, the son, the mother, the father. We're not just that one role all the time. That's we are an integrated human being. We have a heart, we have a soul, we have a head, and we lead with all of those. And holistic support is really key to master life's lessons, to get to that inner joy and that inner satisfaction and fulfillment in life. It's also got to be interactive and fun, because if it's not fun, it's going to kill you. Going down this pathway of how to create a toxic culture can start to trigger survival brain reactions. And actually, that's what happened when I started to write about this topic. Is my survival brain reactions got triggered, and I avoided it for quite some time before actually putting pen to paper. I had a lot of fear about, if I share this with people, will they use it in negative ways? And I would prejudge all of that. But then I made it fun by taking my photographs of snow on trees and making them the characters in my story. And I used puns about their names. So there's Avalanche, who's the avalanche leader. There's I'm a victim, and so on. So I have all of these different characters that I can then put those characteristics on instead of me, and it made it more fun and interactive to help people get this without triggering a survival brain.
Well, and keeping a heavy subject light.
Exactly.
right? Which is
And
brilliant because levity is life. Everywhere you can apply a bit of fun, you will have a better time and you'll be able to deal with things from a more creative space.
exactly. And
Yeah.
then having a clear pathway and goals is, to me, critical. I'm a mapper.
Mhm,
I'm a
mhm.
geographer, so
Yeah.
I create maps and
Mm,
I help to define that clear pathway. And in the hub, Sabina and I have done that as well for people, and
mhm,
we continue to do that with any new ideas that come along. It's very flowy. It's very flexible. Um, and you're in control of your learning journey. You're in control of what you want to cover at any given time. So you can follow the pathway that is your heart and your soul, and it will lead you into the right places. You can also share your experiences with people. And this is really, truly how to master your life's lessons. Because if you're only in your own mind, if you're only in your own body all the time, you really are limited by your learning. And so to really learn life's lesson, you have to share it with people and have some accountability framework. So we built that into the hub as a result. And the missing piece in most of what we're learning is you could listen to this conversation, you could listen to this talk, but how do you make what the insights that have come through this, how do you make that last? How do you follow the practices? And Mia, you're the Miss Habits lady. How do you
yeah,
make it consistent? How do you make it, you know,
part of who you are.
applied every
Yeah,
day, right?
yeah, yeah.
And how do you get support along the way? How do you find community where you can actually say, oops, I misstepped here, or oops, I didn't do this the way that really fits my purpose. How can
Mhm,
I change that? What can I do? How can I get help? And the whole community is built of people who love to help people and love to help support. And every part of the hub has integrated toolkits and different approaches. There's a workbook from this session that you'll be able to access as well from the hub, and you'll be able to get your insights from there. So this is the Empower Me Hub. This is the solution that Sabina and I have created, and we are now co-creating with all of our members. Anything new that comes into the community, any new energy, any new power, any new flow will join the hub and become part of what we are delivering. It's a step-by-step roadmap as well, allows you to come right in right away, figure out your values, figure out who you are, figure out your roadmap, your pathway to success, and have a supportive community to help guide you through that whole experience and in actually achieving the results that you're looking to achieve. Plus, it's integrated, it is the whole human.
mhm.
And you will be able to find the exact help that you need from a variety of different expert coaching and resources available in the hub. It's a truly magical place to be. This is what it looks like. This is our community. It's on a platform that enables us to do networking, Q&As, have this peer support and accountability as well built in. It's a very positive environment, and we're getting some really deep conversations going on, and would love to have you join us into this community. You can also look at the calendar and find out what events are going on, what you want to participate in and join. There's Q&As, there's roundtables, Empower Me hours, and then of course your getting started place. So when you come in, first get started, go through the getting started, do your little assessment on what you're looking for, and it will guide you to one of these classrooms, one of these areas to work on. You can't work on all of them at the same time, so you want to prioritize. You want to go to the one that is most impactful in your life right away. And that may be on physical well-being, or it may be on self-leadership, or it may be on team leadership or your work life, or it could be on driving your career in new directions. We've got all of the resources and all of the experts in the hub who can actually help move you along on that journey. And right away, as soon as you join, there's a 7-day free trial. So you can join in and see what it's all about, find out a little bit more about the hub. And during your 7 days, we have the 7-day free trial. You can see the link to join, and the free trial will give you a 7-day Empower Me quest. The quest is golden. It's something that you follow through, and it actually follows through much of the 7 Empower Me steps that we just went through in this conversation, and it will help guide you through actually getting deeper into the psyche of who you are and what your brilliant spark is, and that connection with your soul contribution, what you really want to achieve in the world, and help you do a roadmap and give you some practical tools and techniques. And it will guide you to those classroom areas and those speakers in our hub that would best serve your needs. So you can click on the link that's been provided, and you will get to this page where you can start your free trial. And I really look forward to seeing all of you over in the hub with me and Mia and Sabina and all the other experts. And keep that energy flowing so that we can all achieve greater success together. So, Mia, what do you think? And what do you think of the hub and your experience of it so far?
I love how alive this community is. It's very much a reciprocal. Whatever you put in, you get out, but not in the cliche way, in a like a community garden kind of way, right? Like everybody's contributing and receiving life out of it. And it's such a beautiful, I'm going to say structure to capture like all the core categories that we experience in life. So a lot of memberships are just really focused on one or maybe up to 3 topics, but
Yeah.
this has, and not from a place of overwhelm, because like you said, you work on a few at a time to improve those areas like well-being, finances, career, for example. And then you can move into other ones, and then anytime you complete a cycle, there's always more work to do. So there's no real end to your participation in this community either, because as you grow and expand, you know all the topics kind of refresh and you take them to a deeper level.
Yeah, and we actually want the feedback, and we want the ideas, and we want the suggestions from our audience. So you can help us design the
Mhm.
hub on an ongoing long-term basis. So come and join us, and I so look forward to seeing you there, and seeing the results of this conversation and where it's going to go, because it's been a passion of mine for quite a few years, and I'd love to empower people by eliminating the barriers, by removing them from your way, and increasing the probability of success. So let's all increase the probability of success globally to as many people as we can. Bring in your friends, join yourself, and make sure that your energy is included here in the hub. And I look forward to seeing you all, and Mia does too, over in the hub, and we'll talk to you then. So take care and have a wonderful day.